For more years than I care to remember at this point, we've brought in fancy new young players from the Premier League. We've brought in loans. We've spent £1 million on a player. But when the chips are down, when things are really, really, really tough, we can always rely on two men. Where on earth would we be without Dan Fisher and James Ball? Hello and welcome to part 100 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two matches for you, both in the Championship. One away against Fulham, one away against Millwall. Since you were last with me, most importantly, if we look at the league table, you can see that we're finally outside the relegation zone and we're finally hitting the Kev ratio. 20 games in, we're in 20th place on 20 points. Hurrah for 20! And the way we got there is by, although still having inconsistent form and still conceding a lot of goals, we've now got inconsistent form that betters the Kev ratio. Judging this in batches of 6 games, the way Fergie used to when he was posh manager, Darren Ferguson, the best posh manager in history, he always used to judge his season in batches of 6 and set a points target for each batch of 6 and then try and beat that. Well, if we look back at our last 6 games, in 6 games we've actually got 10 points from 6 games, which is a massive, massive overachievement for a team like us who were struggling down in the relegation zone, and it's done that to our season. As you can see against Reading, it was all about Dan Fisher and James Ball. 2 goals apiece. They're back fully involved in the team again because they're both heroes. And this is the team that we're putting out there for today's game against Fulham. And up front, it looks a little bit more familiar than it has done in recent years. So we've got Mitchell in goal, a back three of Hughes, Hutchins and Flores, with Taylor and Parsons as our wing-backs. I think you've met Matt Parsons. I think he made his... Actually, you might not have done if he's only played one game. I thought he made his debut in the last episode, but apparently not. So Matt Parsons is another wing-back, full-back, that we signed in the summer, I think, last year on a free transfer from Chelsea. He's the one who's been at Chelsea and Man United. I've talked about him before. He must have made his debut in the last episode and then not played since. And I've now brought him back in the team, so I remember talking about him. Unless I've just recorded this episode and I'm now doing it again. That'll be an interesting one. We've got Davies and Longden in midfield and then Ball in behind Ruggles and Fisher. The interesting thing about the team at the moment is as the season's gone on and it's getting harder, we're actually slowly transitioning all the loan players out of the team. You can see that Barber, Ibrahim, Richardson, they're all sat down there on the bench. Ruggles still starts most of the time, although there's an argument to do Fisher and Weaver or Fisher and Cairns and drop Ruggles out of the team as well. And Josh Sawyer is pushing hard to push Flores out of the team. We could end up, probably for the first time in maybe ever, even going back to the first season, we had Jordan Nicholson in the team on loan. So I don't know if there's ever been a point in this save where we've not had at loan one lone player in the team. And I think that time might be approaching unless we get a turnaround of form for some of these loan players, you know what I mean. When I was getting ready for that intro, I'm trying to work out how long Fisher and Ball had been with us, by the way. James Ball has now been at the club 8 years, 3 years on loan, 5 years as a permanent Nuneaton player. And he's played 314 games for us now. So what a save from Mitchell. Mitchell, after a dodgy start to the season, is turning into a half-decent keeper. Which, I mean, it's... For goodness sake. For goodness sake. What did I even say there? Thanks, Mitchell. Idiot. James Ball's been with us 8 years. 314 appearances. I mean, I can't believe he's just conceded that goal in that manner. 314 appearances. So he is... I think he's just about to pass Sir Tom Elliott for second place for most appearances. I think Sir Tom Elliott ended on about 320, around about that point. Joe Anderson's now on 396 appearances, but he's no longer considered a first-team player, mainly because he can't play wing-back. If we go back to a flat-back 4 at some point, obviously Anderson comes back into the team, but we've been beaten in exactly the same. That's 2 identical goals they've scored there. Crosses to the same guy who just gets there before the keeper and heads into the top corner at the near post. I mean, that's troublesome. We probably need to stop that from happening again. I'm not going to stop that. I'm not going to do anything to stop that from happening again. I mean, he's just good. He's just too good. There's no accounting for playing against a player who can do that. He is just too good in the air. He's going to dominate us all day long. Joe Anderson, in addition to no longer being a first-team player, the moment he dropped out of the first team... And it was he'd missed 3 games after we switched to the 3 at the back. He then came and had the chat with me where he thinks he's achieved all he can at Nuneaton and wants to move on. I don't... Oh, my word. What have we done wrong in this game? We're on counter-attacking. I was going to switch to control. There's no point at 3-0 down after 20 minutes. We just need to sit and take our medicine, I think. How good are Fulham? Let's have a little look at the league table in a second. I mean, Fulham might just be one of those teams that we're always going to thump us. But it's this guy. He is lethal in the air. I mean, I guess it's not worth scouting him because we're not going to be able to get a player like that who's tearing us apart like that. But I want to try and scout him because he might be a youth player who's making his debut and will never play for them again. I think that's quite unlikely. Oh, he's in again and causing problems again. It's all coming from crosses and that big lad they've got up front just absolutely destroying our back three. Everything's going through him. There he is again. We just need to kick him hard. Kick him in the knee or something. And again, cross comes in. We're being punished for not having fullbacks. Why have we not got Fulham's formation on the screen? We normally have the opposition formation somewhere on the screen. And it appeared and then disappeared again. But yeah, Joe Anderson says he's... so they're just playing with two wingers and the big lad up front. And it's wrecking us. That's perhaps why we've not got formation on there, because it doesn't want to stick to the screen anywhere. So we'll leave that on so we can... So we can watch how they're punishing us. I guess that... Oh, my word. He scored 3 identical goals. Yes, that cross came from the other side, but he still headed that into the same... I mean, you could tape over the whole goal and cut a ball-shaped hole in that top left corner of our goal, and he still would have scored all 3 of his goals because they've all gone into exactly the same point of the net. 3 perfect headers. We have been torn apart by an aerial battering from a player who's just too good to be playing against the likes of us. Just too good. They've gone... I mean, it's like the anti-Kev system. They've put all their focus around big lad in the middle and 2 wingers who are just going to destroy our fullbacks. And we have just no response to it. They've scored 4 goals before we've even had a highlight. That was a lesson. We've been taught a lesson there. Yikes. But yes, Joe Anderson thinks he's achieved all he can at the club. Let's have a look at this guy. 22 years old, already valued at £7 million. He signed for them on a free last summer. So presumably he would have been someone we actually tried to sign in the summer. Yep, I've got a scout report for him. So he would have been someone I offered a trial to. And then went and scouted, but he signed for Fulham instead of us. How much are they paying him? Yeah, we couldn't have afforded him. But we would have been trying in the summer for sure. He's got Premier League experience. I mean, yeah. There's nothing we can do about that. He's probably playing his 1 season in this division. Because if he doesn't go up with them this year, he's surely getting sold at some point. Because, I mean, if I was in the Premier League now, I'd be looking at him and bringing him in January. This might be one of his final games in the Championship. But, goodness me, has he absolutely destroyed us with a single-handedly brilliant performance. But yes, Joe Anderson feels like he's achieved all he can at the club, and unusually, normally I can convince them that, we need your dressing room dynamics, all that stuff. That's how we kept Tom Elliott at the club for so long. It's a lovely finish from Ruggles. But we kept Tom Elliott at the club for so long because we kept telling him we needed him and come on, grass isn't always greener, all that stuff. Joe Anderson is having absolutely none of it. He wants to leave. And ridiculously, he wants to leave. I mean, he wanted to go to Grimsby, who were in League 2, or were in League 2 at the time. I think they've had a promotion again since. But he just wants to get out, I think. He's been here 11 years now. He's still not had a testimonial, so I don't really want him to leave before he's had a testimonial. But he's insisted on having his asking price set at £95,000. So I think there is quite a good chance that Joe Anderson is going to leave the club in January, because we certainly can't afford to upset him, because if we upset him, that's going to absolutely destroy dynamics. He's the team leader. He's the captain. If we don't give him what he wants... we'll get relegated as a result of it if we don't give him what he wants, because we just, as a club, won't be able to recover from a player like him deciding he doesn't want to be here. So I think he's probably going to be leaving if someone offers a pitiful amount of money for a player who's played nearly 400 games for us. It does mean he might not get to play. Well, if he leaves, he won't get to play for us in the Premier League, which means Laskowski then becomes the only one who could possibly play for us in all leagues, and he's already kind of done. He's out on loan somewhere else. I mean, I guess that's our only hope with Anderson. If we can get him out on loan somewhere rather than selling him, that lad's got his fourth. Oh my word, just too good. If we can maybe get Anderson out on loan for the next couple of years and kind of cheat to get him his Premier League appearance at some point. Although looking at this, I don't know that we're going to be hitting the Premier League anytime soon anyway. I was talking about this on the stream the other day. I think our plan for Nuneaton has to be just try and stay in the Championship until the new ground is built. The new ground is due in January 2032, so just about 2 years away. So we've got this season, next season, and probably the season after, so maybe 3 seasons of just trying not to get relegated. And then once we've got the bigger ground, we might be in a position to push on as a club. But until then, we're always going to be so far behind financially that we're just not going to be competitive at this level. So I think, as romantic as the idea is, with Joe Anderson now being 28 and wanting to leave, Laskowski I think is 26 and already not good enough to sit on our bench. I don't know that we're going to have that one man who plays for us in all divisions, because they're the only two who could still possibly do it. James Ball played for us in the National League for 2 years, but never the National League North. He came in the year after Laskowski, 2 years after Anderson. So he would be, I mean, he'd still have the whole played for us in non-league and the Premier League and everything in between. So that would still be a nice story. And he's still a first-team player. But it's not quite as fun as the Joe Anderson story would have been. But I think that story might be over. Right. Millwall away. They're bottom of the league. We just got absolutely battered by Fulham. We need a win to get back on track with the Kev ratio. Just before that game, someone asked a few days ago for me to show this page, and I keep forgetting to do it. But finally, the salary per annum, just to show you what we're up against in this league. So the top salary per year has been paid by Blackburn, who are spending £42 million on wages, compared to us. We're spending just under £5 million on wages. Grimsby actually made it all the way up to our division. So if Joe Anderson goes to Grimsby, that's probably actually quite a good move for him. But there's, I don't know, 5 or 6 clubs down the bottom who are nowhere near when it comes to wage budget. I'm surprised Reading are paying so little, and Millwall, really. But, I mean, even Fulham aren't paying very much at all. You've got the really, really big clubs. These top 5, really, are just completely in. They're Premier League clubs playing at this level. And then you've got us. Grimsby paying almost as much as us. This is why we can't compete. 2 changes for the Millwall game then. I'm making the wing-backs the scapegoats. So Phil Ball and Lang both come back in at the expense of the 2 jokers who were in there offering no protection at all in the last game. Other than that, we are unchanged. I think if Joe Anderson had been in the team, if we'd have been playing a flat-back 4, we might not have lost 5-1 in that last game. But then we were losing every game when we were playing the 4-3-1-2. If we lose this now, then I feel like it might be time to return to our true tactic. Because if we can't beat bottom of the table Millwall, who've lost their last 5 games consecutively, we're off the back of that beating the Kev ratio run of 6 games. And they've been losing every single game while that's been going on. If we now lose to them, and we're 1-0 down, then I think it's time to give up on the 3 at the back nonsense and go back to what we know how to do and go back to the original plan of let's just go down swinging. Because if going defensively and counter-attacking against this slot, I don't know. I know people always tell me, Kev, doing a 5-3-2 with a man in the hole behind the front 2, that's not a defensive formation. It's as defensive as you're ever going to see me get. I'm never going to do a flat 5-4-1 or anything like that, or a 4-5-1. I'm not going to play with 2 holding midfield players or any of these super negative tactics. If that means sometimes we're going to get relegated, then we might just get relegated this season. But we're doing okay. We're just about at the Kev ratio. We just need a result today. Dan Fisher can't quite get the cross in, and it's a big ball over the top, and none of our back 3 can chase that. And we were just done for pace that time, a massive ball over the top. And despite the fact we've got that one guy on cover, who's supposed to be there to stop stuff like that happening so that I don't have to drop my defensive line back too far, because I like to compress the play. I don't want to drop my defensive line back. So having Hutchins there on cover is supposed to be there to cover, but clearly he didn't do the job there, which is troublesome. Right, we've not had an attack, have we? I think we actually need to go to control in this game. So, right, we definitely do. We cannot just sit here and let teams score goals against us. If we lose this, we forget this 3-5-2 nonsense. We've had one shot and we missed it. That is not how Nuneaton play football. I would rather lose 5-4 than 1-0. Just, we need goals. We need to be an attacking force. That's what we do. That's what we're good at. Right, ball into Ruggles. Ruggles is fouled, surely, but Fisher scores, so don't give the penalty now, ref. Dan Fisher gets a goal back. We switch to counter. We immediately have a response with a goal from Dan Fisher, and now we need more goals. We need to get back into this game. This needs to turn around into a win. Perhaps we can do the 5-3-2, but with an attacking twist on it. Perhaps we don't need to go counter-attacking everywhere, like we're afraid. Right, Longdon, over to Davis, to Ball, into Fisher, and Fisher was offside. And missed anyway, because Millwall were one of those group of 4 or 5 teams on similar sort of wage budgets to us as well. So not only are they a team we should be beating because they're below us in the league and have lost. I mean, they've only got 5 points all season before this game, and we're going to lose to them. But they're also one of the few teams that we should be competing with down at this level. And I know we're away from home, and you don't bank on winning your away games, especially when you're as rubbish as we are. But I think you have to make an exception for a Millwall team with a record that looks like that. They've got an even worse goal difference than we have. Come on, we've got to get back into this game. We need a quick. I think I am going to sacrifice a defender in a minute and stick on another midfield player, and we're going to go to the 4-3-1-2. Because I think if there is a team we should be doing it against, it's this lot. So we're going to let this highlight end, and then we're going to take off a defender, and we're going for it. I pressed the wrong button. Right. Where's my 4-3-1-2? There it is. Let's get one of these useless defenders off. Who's the one who's going to come off? We probably will take Hutchins off, actually. And we're going to bring on Miles Darwin, the £1 million man who hasn't been playing recently. Yikes. Yes, I admit you were all right about him. And we had him as a ball-winning midfielder, didn't we? That was the one tweak we had to how we do this. Right. Half an hour of playing the way that we played when we were any good. Ball with the corner, Hughes with the header, and it's over. Come on. We at least need to be creating some chances. If nothing else, that's what this tactic does. It gives us chances. There's a big ball over the top for Fisher to chase, but he doesn't chase it. And it goes back to Millwall again, who immediately, when we go to the flat back 4, they get in behind our high defensive line and score. Oh, I can hear the comment section telling me to drop the defensive line back. I will not do it because I don't want to be negative and boring. I want to play exciting attacking football. And if we're not good enough to do it, then we'll just get relegated and that'll be fine. Mitchell seems to have immediately gone back to being useless as soon as he's only got 4 men in front of him rather than 5. I don't understand the logic there. He's been playing really well. And now just is useless again. I'm so confused. Right, come on. Please, can we create some chances? We've got 25 minutes. Ball over the top for Fisher to chase again. But again, he's not really alert to it. But Longdon intercepts now and plays it back to Davis. And it's with James Ball, who plays it through to Ruggles. And Ruggles misses. It's 2 all for clear-cut chances. We're being mugged here. Well, it's a slight mugging. Right, we're going to get Ruggles off and bring on Symes. And we're going to swap those 2 over. Get Fisher to be the target man. And then I guess we bring Richardson on as well, and we just attack. Get Ball there as the deep lying playmaker, which he's done many times before. And do that. 20 minutes. Might even have to go attacking, but that might just be asking for trouble. We can't have 2 massive away thumpings in a row, especially when one of them is Millwall. Goodness sake. They are going to score again, aren't they? This is what I get for showing you 2 away games. We're going attacking. And there's got to be goals in this still. I gave Dan Fisher praise before the episode started. And he's just scored 1 goal. Normally when I praise him, he scores lots of goals. He was one of the pre-season favourites in the Championship to be top scorer, and he's just not performed very well this season. Richardson misses, but we've now had more clear-cut chances than Millwall. So we are officially being mugged at this point. Oh, the luck just isn't going our way at the moment, and that's troublesome. Right, they're in behind again, and Mitchell just lets it hit him and bounce off again. This time, luckily, it only bounces off for a corner. But why is he just letting the ball hit him and rebound off? Just catch the football. It's not that hard. You're a goalkeeper. You're allowed to use your hands. Oh, God. They're knocking the ball around us like they're any good. They've lost 5 consecutive games. They've only won 1 match all season before this one. You can guarantee when they got their fixture list at the start of the year, they ticked this one off as, yep, this will be a home win. But we shouldn't have made it so easy for them. And they're just first to every ball. Darwin to Symes to Richardson. Fisher is in. Can he finish? Of course he can't. But it was another good chance that goes begging. And now we have a corner and it's Darwin. It was a half-decent corner into danger areas but doesn't find a red shirt. I'm desperate to big up Darwin any way I can to justify spending all that money on him. He's looking furious. You're furious, Miles. Goodness me. You want to see how furious I am? I spent all that money on you. Now we're just knocking the ball around at the back. Symes is through now. It's the first we've seen of him in the 30 minutes since he's been on, and he misses. And it's another clear-cut chance goes begging. We should have won that game. Oh, that hurt. Yuck. Anyway, if you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for us. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.